Hi everybody, welcome to Sandy Treasures. I am Sandy, and what I do, I am an artist. I paint especially mermaids and turtles and marine life, but my twist is I try to highlight the plastic pollution in the ocean. Like in this case here, you see the mermaid pulling a six-pack from the turtle's neck. Normally most people that are passing by, they don't see it, and I've had to explain it or get their attention, because normally they're kind of like walking just right by and they don't even notice what is special about this or anything like that. So I've taken the liberty of stopping people and explaining to them the reason for me painting this, which they didn't even notice in the first place. So on this turtle here, I painted some garbage right down here, some bottles, some plastic bags. There's this plastic bag right here that is in the shape of a jellyfish. I really wanted to paint that plastic bag like right around here, but I didn't think I had enough space to convey, and I really liked how this looks here, so I didn't want to kind of like ruin that. Maybe you think that, well, it's ruined already by having the plastic pollution, but there's a lot of beauty in it. And the way I look at it is it's a reminder of not what's wrong, but it's a reminder of the conscious attitude that I have taken about plastic pollution in the ocean. And I hope that when they get one of these pieces, that it's not something that brings them down, that it's something that brings them up. Because when you purchase one of these, I personally, my commitment is to give 20% to entities. Like my two favorite ones are the Manatee Center in Fort Pierce, which what they do is they educate a lot of the younger ones, and they also have a beautiful view of the manatees that come in, especially when it's cold up north. So manatees tend to come and gather because there's a power plant by that area, and I guess it gets a little warmer. And also the Manatee Center has managed to keep track of which manatees are which, and they actually have names for these manatees according to the scars on their backs, because most of these manatees get the scars from propellers from boats. These manatees are kind of slow moving and they don't get out of the way fast enough. So most of them have their names, and the Manatee Center, they can tell you the history of each one of these if you want to inquire about it. It's pretty interesting. And another company that I'm really interested in giving donations to is the Loggerhead Marine Life in Juno Beach. They are doing an amazing job when it comes to rescuing turtles. Some of these turtles come with issues like a cracked shell, or they've ingested plastic, or they have some kind of growth, and these need to be removed. So what they do is they have these beautiful tanks where they help these turtles get back into health, and then they release them back into the wild. So I think it's fabulous. I also want to mention that if you go to Loggerhead, you'll see a beautiful wall that is approximately 30 feet, and it's been made to imitate the underwater world with plastic. So I'm kind of jealous that I didn't create that, because I think it's a beautiful piece of art that I would have loved to participate and create that. So this is the image, and it's all made out of plastic found from the ocean. So I think that that is amazing and that is interesting. The lighting there is kind of like dark, because they have these tanks with beautiful jellyfish, and jellyfish like to keep it dark, and they cater to jellyfish, as they should. So what I wanted to mention too is, and I've been mentioning it on my videos every time now, because today, August 8th, is the release of my book. This here is a proof, okay? It has the proof line right across the face, but this is the book, the first book that I created about the plastic pollution legacy in the ocean. It's called Trashy Mermaid in the Plastic Pollution Legacy in the Ocean. And I did this because painting all of these environmental awareness art pieces and explaining it to the people that were ignoring me, somebody actually said, hey, you should write a book. And I think that that stuck with me, and I ran with that idea. And here it is. The book is released today. Today is August 8th. And I'm recording this video the day before, but I have to prepare for tomorrow. Okay, So another thing I wanted to talk about today that is very important, I'm hoping that I can encourage or discourage you from buying any more synthetic material fabrics and stick to only fabrics that are made out of cotton or linen or wool. You know, these are the three main natural fibers, also hemp. I want to tell you also a study that was done many years ago by Dr. Heidi Yellen, and this is about a measurement in between synthetic fabrics and natural fabrics. Okay, so what I'm talking about is cottons have a measurement of 100 megahertz, and if you have not organic cotton, then you would get like a 70 megahertz on the reading of that. And if you get linen, the reading on that would be 5,000 megahertz, and the reading on wool would be also 5,000 megahertz. But this is the interesting part about it, is that wool measures 5,000 megahertz, and so does linen, but they run opposites to each other. So if you wear them together, or if they are placed together, they actually collapse the frequency. So what I find very interesting, and I want to communicate to you guys, is that this is actually in the Bible. I'm not a Bible reader. I'm not religious at all. I'm more of like a spiritual person, but I find that interesting, you know, that in the Bible, you can actually find where they're talking about not mixing wools and linens. And back in the day, a hospital would have all their linens, all their sheets would be made out of linen. And that would be, you know, you would wrap the baby with linens, you would wrap a sick person with linen to help them heal. Also, if you do a little research on this, you can see that synthetic materials like polyesters, modal, and Ryons, they're made out of petrol plastic, and they're treated with so many chemicals. They call them the forever chemicals. And these chemicals, they're not a contribution to your health, let's put it this way, okay? So if you have issues, let's say, where you wear your clothes normally, and you feel a little itchy, or you feel a little uncomfortable, I know that when it comes to like my hair clips, or anything that I put on my hair, I like bamboo sticks, and this is what I have today. It's a very simple, you know, I just MacGyver a shell and a bamboo stick, and then I put a band with that. But if I had metal there, my scalp would be itchy, and I can't wear metal. So cheap metal. If I wear silver or gold, that would be okay. But you know, just like earrings, if I wear cheap metal, my ears would turn green and they would have like a reaction and all that stuff. Well, it turns out that our fabrics too can give us a reaction. When I found this out many years ago, I went ahead and bagged most of my clothes. I would say 95% of the clothes that I had in my closet, and I put them in like 6 bags of tall kitchen bags, and I donated it to different places like the Humane Society, and I don't remember 2 or 3 other places, because what I did is I gave a little bit here and a little bit there. I figure, you know, go ahead and spread it all out. Most people are not really aware of this factor when it comes to clothes, but for me, once I became aware of this, I had to change my clothes to all cottons and linens. So most of my clothes are cottons and linens. I happen to have a little bit of an allergy with wool, and wool is kind of like too hot for me, and I live here in Florida, so I don't wear wool. So that is the thing that I wanted to tell you guys about, that basically fabrics have a way of a measurement system that was created by Heidi Yellen. And these fabrics, they score about 100 or up if they're good for us. Okay, this is the part that I almost left out. A healthy human body is about 100 megahertz. And a very sick human body that is about to die is about 15 megahertz. Okay, synthetic fabrics are about 15, and that's my dog drinking water. So synthetic fabrics are about 15 megahertz. So like all your polyesters and your Ryons, your lycras, and all of that, they will have that measurement if you were measuring with the megahertz. So just to let you know that there is that direct correlation that has been scientifically done, And then there's the spiritual part that is also talked about in the Bible. And that's why I like metaphysics. Okay, I'm not trying to like put this on you or anything like that, but I like that metaphysics is the spiritual aspect and the confirmation with the scientific finding. Okay, and I know it's not popular in the science world, but it's there. It's been measured. It's not popular, but it's there. Heidi Yellen is the doctor that found that out, and I think that that is fascinating. And I hope I can discourage you guys from buying any more of these synthetic fabrics, because I think that, number one, they're bad for the people that are making these garments with synthetic fabrics. Number two, the waste, the discarded waste, usually ends up in lands that should not be, like especially, like I've seen pictures from the garment district in India, where they discard all of this material in the back of their shops. And in the back of their shops, they may have like this little river passing by. You don't even see it anymore because it's like piles and piles and piles of all this fabric that is made out of synthetic material that has all these forever chemicals. Another thing that I want to mention to you is, let's say you go ahead and put all your synthetic material in a dryer machine. That lint that you get out of there, that's all microplastics, right? And there was another finding that I want to share with you guys, and it turns out that we eat or we consume about the equivalent of 1 credit card of microplastics every month. So that's very, I mean, if you eat a lot of products that are pre-packed, that you don't cook, then that's where you're gonna have more microplastics consumed. If you are careful to prepare your food at home, and even though, you know, that may slip because the packaging materials, you know, a lot of times, I mean, I've been to restaurants where I'm eating and then all of a sudden I have like a plastic something and I have to spit it out. So that's catching it. But when they're so small, you don't catch it. So anyway, that's what I wanted to communicate to you guys today. Hopefully you turn into where you're choosing more of the natural fibers when it comes to the clothes that you wear, because it has a lot to do with the pollution that is going on in the ocean, and these forever chemicals that are in those synthetic garments, they don't contribute, they don't have a contribution to your health, they have a contribution to the opposite, okay? And we are already like overloaded with chemicals in so many ways that it would help to, you know, just pay attention to what is it that you're wearing. So that's what this is about today, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you guys look for my book on Amazon KDP, which is released today. It's Trashy Mermaid and the Plastic Pollution Legacy. So, and all the pictures that are in here are painted by me, and they're at the very end. So all of the pictures that I included in this book are my paintings, and that's how this whole thing started. So that's that, and thank you for watching. I hope I see you next time. Bye.